Jai Hind, myself Nehagar. I am assistant professor in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, and today's topic is semiconductor material. This topic has been taken from the subject Fundamentals of Electronics Engineering. Subject code is BEC 101. So basically, electronic devices are generally made up of three types of material: germanium, silicon, and gallium arsenide. So in starting, germanium was preferred in 1939. But germanium is generally is temperature sensitive. Means if the temperature fluctuation is there, then the leakage current will be maximum in case of the germanium. And in 1947, near 1947, silicon was used for the for making the designing the electronic devices. Silicon is less temperature sensitive in comparison to germanium. And why is it so? Because in case of silicon, we can say its atomic number is 14. Its atomic number is 14. So if we see the electronic configuration, it will be 2, 8, and 4. And in case of germanium, atomic number is 32. It means 2, 8, 18, and 4. The outermost orbit, we can see in both cases, number of electrons are 4. Means in valence band, number of electrons are 4. And if we draw the energy diagram of silicon, we can see this is our valence band, and before that, we can see here this is the at first level number of electrons are 2. In second level there are 8 electrons are there, and in outermost orbit, that is the valence band, number of electrons are 4. So this is the valence band. The outermost orbit in which the number of electrons are 4. This band is called the valence band, and this is for the silicon. And for in case of germanium, we can see in first shell number of electrons are 2, in second 8, in third 18, and the outermost orbit number of electrons are 4. So here we can see there are 3 energy levels, and here there are 4 energy levels. This is the valence band. Here this is the valence band. So so here we can see this is the conduction band is there. Here these are the conduction bands are there. So the energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band is called the forbidden energy gap. So here the electrons are at the third energy level, and here the electrons are at the fourth energy level. So the energy of the electrons at fourth level is high in comparison to the energy of the electrons that are lying in the third level of the silicon. So these electrons, they require very less amount of energy to come into the conduction band, and this less amount of energy may be given by temperature, increase in temperature, or by any electrical energy. So these electrons can get energy and can jump into the conduction band. So we can see in valence, number of valence electrons in germanium and silicon both are same, that is 4 electrons are there. But in silicon, electrons are at the third energy level, and in germanium, valence electrons are at the fourth energy level. So they require very less amount of energy to come into the conduction band. So at very less temperature, they are leakage currents flow, because electrons comes in the conduction band and they start conducting. So that's why silicon is highly temperature sensitive germanium is highly temperature sensitive in comparison to silicon. And here gallium arsenide is also preferred. Gallium arsenide is generally preferred when there is a point of high switching applications, or we can say high speed of response, fast speed of response. If we require, then we can switch to the gallium arsenide. So in last slide I have told you that in 1939 germanium was used. Then in 1947, 1954 silicon was preferred for designing the electronic devices, and after that in 1970 gallium arsenide was preferred. So germanium, silicon, and gallium arsenide. Problem with the gallium arsenide was it was difficult to manufacture, expensive, and had little design support for at the early stages. And the problem with the germanium was that it is more temperature sensitive in comparison to the silicon. And the problem with the silicon that it is available, but it requires refining process is difficult. So this is the atomic structure of the germanium and silicon. So this I have already explained in the last slides. That first orbit contains 2 electrons. After that, these are the 8, then 18, and these are the 4. Here also, this is the 2, 8, and 4. So these are the configurations of the electronic configuration of the silicon and germanium. And this is for your gallium arsenide. So this is the structure for gallium, and this is the structure for germanium. The atomic number of the gallium is 31, and the atomic number of arsenic is 33. So, and these are how. So if we see the semiconductor material, they are of 2 types: intrinsic semiconductor material, intrinsic semiconductor, and extrinsic semiconductor. So in intrinsic semiconductors are those semiconductors they require less amount of intrinsic semiconductors are those semiconductors which are in its purest form, like there is no doping or impurity has been doped in the semiconductor material. Like this is a silicon atom, and there is no impurity has been doped in the silicon atoms. It is in its purest form. So this is the intrinsic semiconductor, and we have already know that silicon has 4 electrons in its outermost orbit. So if we take a material, it has a different types of silicon atom. So this is another silicon atom. This is another silicon atom, and this is another silicon atom. Like in this way. So we can say here this is a bonding, this is a covalent bond, this is covalent bond, and again this is a covalent bond, because every atom has a tendency to complete its octet. So its silicon has 4 electrons in its outermost orbit, so it wants to complete its octet. Means it can obtain 8 electrons in its outermost orbit. So this silicon atom has 4 electrons. These electrons will make a covalent bond with another atom, and these covalent bonds are very strong. That's why intrinsic semiconductor act as a insulator. Intrinsic semiconductor act as a insulator. Insulator at absolute zero temperature. It acts as a insulator. Absolute zero means 0 degree Kelvin, or we can say minus 273 degree centigrade. Because at this low temperature, the strong covalent bonds exist between the silicon atoms, and these bonds they tightly holds the valence electrons, and these valence electrons they are not freely available in the crystal lattice. That's why conduction is not possible and current is not there in the semiconductor. And this intrinsic semiconductor acts as a insulator at absolute zero. And on increasing temperature, means at room temperature, these bonds get break, and when these bonds get break, the electrons are liberated, and these electrons are free to move within the crystal, and these electrons are freely available for conduction also. So that's why on increasing temperature, like at room temperature means 25 degrees centigrade. At 25 degrees centigrade room temperature, conductivity of the intrinsic semiconductor increases. This is also the structure for the gallium arsenide, and this is arsenic, and here gallium is there. So these are the strong covalent bonds they share, and this is the energy levels of the semiconductor atom. This is the valence band. This is the valence band, and this is the nucleus. And if we increase the level of the valence electron is at the highest level, means it has a highest energy. If it is at the 4th level of the energy, it will have a more energy in comparison to the electron that is at the 3rd level. After that, these shows the difference between this slide shows the difference in between the insulator, semiconductor and conductor. And this is the types of materials. what are the types of different types of materials are there. So first is the insulator, second one is the semiconductor, and third one is the conductor. So this is the insulator. Here we can see this is the valence band and this is the conduction band. And the energy gap in between the insulator and the conduction band, valence band and the conduction band is the 5 electron volt. Means the forbidden energy gap between the valence band and conduction band should be greater than 5 electron volt. And here if we see valence band is completely filled. This is completely filled, and conduction band is empty. Conduction band empty. This is the property of the insulator. Means in conduction band there is no free electrons are available. That's why conductivity is not zero in case of the insulator. All the electrons are available only in the valence band. They are not available in the conduction band. And if these electrons, they have given the energy that is greater than 5 electron volt, then they come into the conduction band, and this process is called the insulation breakdown. And this energy can be given through the with a high temperature or by applying the electric field. So this is examples of insulators are like rubber, plastic, air, wood. So all these are the examples of the insulator. And in case of the conductor, conduction band, like in case of conductor, this is the conduction band and this is the valence band. So this conduction band and valence band are nearly overlapping. This is the overlapping part. So here we can see this is the conduction band and these are the valence band. So there is a overlapping between the conduction band and the valence band. So they can easily, electrons at room temperature, they are easily available in the valence electrons, they are easily available in the conduction band. So conductivity of the conductor is very high. Like all metals come in the category of the conductor. And in case of semiconductor, we can see the energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band is nearly equal to 1 electron volt. 1 electron volt. And this is in case of germanium, this energy gap is 0.67, and in case of silicon it is 1.1 electron volt, and for gallium arsenide it is 1.43 electron volt. So this is all these figures are nearly equal to the 1 electron volt. So that's why in semiconductor the energy gap is 1 electron volt. And at absolute zero, the property of the semiconductor is it is at absolute zero, it behaves as an insulator. That's why at absolute zero, valence band is completely filled and conduction band is empty. And if we increase the temperature, like if we are at the room temperature, conduction band and valence band, they are partially filled. Now we have seen the types of material. These were the your insulator, conductor and semiconductor. Now types of semiconductor. So types of semiconductor of two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic semiconductor are available in its purest form that we have discussed in the earlier slides. And extrinsic semiconductor is of two types, N type and P type. So this is the structure for the N-type semiconductor. For N-type semiconductor, we have to make a doping of pentavalent atoms. Pentavalent atom. Pentavalent atom means the atom in which the outermost orbit has 5 electrons. Means valence band has 5 electrons in the outermost orbit. So, and these are like antimony, arsenic, phosphorus. All these are the antimony, arsenic and phosphorus. These are the pentavalent atoms. So these atoms are doped in the silicon atom or germanium atom. And we know silicon has 4 electrons in its outermost orbit and antimony has 5 electrons in its outermost orbit. So we can take this antimony, it has 5 electrons in its outermost orbit. So, and here silicon is there. This is silicon, and silicon has 4 electrons in its outermost orbit. So these 4 electrons, they will make a covalent bond, just like in this way. And here 4 bonds are there, so as to octet may be complete. And now if we see, this electron is freely available. This electron is not bonded with other atom with a strong covalent bonds. So at room temperature, this electron is freely available for the conduction. Okay, and this, and if we this antimony is called as a donor ion. This is called the donor ion because it provides this electron for the conductivity. And when this electron leaves this atom, this antimony becomes plus. So donor ion is always positive in nature, because one electron is removed from this antimony, and this electron is now freely available within the crystal to provide the conductivity. So after leaving this electron, this antimony will become positive, and since it is donating the electron, that's why it is called as a donor ion. So this is donor ion, and this is positive in nature. So this is positive in nature, and this donor ion is always immobile in nature. This is immobile in nature, means this donor ion cannot move within the crystal. Only electrons will move. This donor ion will remain as it is. So in N-type semiconductor, if we see, electrons will be in majority and holes will be in minority, and donor ions will be there. These donor ions will be immobile in nature and will not move within the crystal. And if we see now, if the temperature increases, and these electrons is freely available, and these electrons move within the crystal and they collide with the since electrons will liberated, and they will recombine with each other. So the minimum time they travel is called their mean lifetime. And also temperature increases and covalent bonds break, due to which electrons are generated, and electrons are generated. And electrons, where electrons is liberated, always there will be a hole is created. Electron and holes always generated in a pair. So thermal generation means the temperature increases, electrons are liberated, and these electrons, they recombine with the holes also. So recombination and generation, this process continue. So in case of extrinsic semiconductor, like in case of N-type material, number of electrons will be more in comparison to the holes. Like these are this slide depicts the valence band, conduction band, and this is for the, if we see the Fermi level of the in case of Fermi level in case of N-type material. So we can see here the concentration of electrons is very high. So Fermi level always lie at near the conduction band. In case of extrinsic semiconductor, like this is extrinsic semiconductor, this is conduction band, and this is the valence band. So Fermi level lie in the middle in case of intrinsic semiconductor, because in intrinsic semiconductor, number of electrons in conduction band is equal to the number of holes in the valence band. So Fermi level will always lie in the middle of the conduction band and the valence band in case of the intrinsic semiconductor. Basically this Fermi level depicts the center of gravity, means the maximum weight of the semiconductor will lie. So in case of N-type material, the number of electrons in conduction band is more in comparison to the number of holes in the valence band. That's why if this is the conduction band and this is the valence band, holes always available in the valence band, and electrons are always available in the conduction band. And we know electrons are more in conduction band, that's why Fermi level is near to the conduction band in case of N-type semiconductor. So in P-type semiconductor, trivalent impurities are doped. Trivalent impurity like your gallium, boron, and indium. All these atoms, they have a 3 electrons in their outermost orbit. Means number of valence electrons are 3. And here we can see this boron is there. These have 3 electrons. Means like this is boron and 3 electrons are there. Here silicon is there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it is 1, 2, 3, 4. And here covalent bond is there. Here covalent bond is there. Here covalent bond is there. But we can see here this electron has not any electron for making a covalent bond. So here there is a deficiency of electron at this point. So deficiency of electron is called as a hole. So here there is a hole is there. Okay, so means hole is always a deficiency of electron. Deficiency of electron is the hole. Now if surrounding bonds are there and these bonds they break due to the temperature rise. So they break due to the temperature rise and here electrons get liberated. These electrons will move within the crystal and they will come at the space where the deficiency of electrons is there. So they will come in at this hole. Now here where electron is living, here there will be a deficiency of electron. Means here another hole will be created. Now another bond will break. Here also electron will come and occupy this space. So again here hole will created. So we can see our electron is moving here. Electron is moving in this direction and hole is moving in this direction. Here also electron is moving in this direction and hole is moving in this direction. So electron and hole always move in opposite direction and always they are generated in a pair. If a bond break, electron is liberated and similarly there will be a hole is also generated. So electron and hole, they are always in pair and they move in opposite direction. So this is basically the concept, and in this p-type semiconductor we can say number of holes is more in comparison to number of electrons. So if we see the Fermi level of this, of p-type semiconductor, so this is our conduction band, this is our valence band. Valence band contains holes and this contains electrons. And in case of p-type semiconductor, number of holes is more. So Fermi level will lie near the valence band. And in case of n-type semiconductor, Fermi level lies near the conduction band. So this is the basics about the p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. Now we have to study the p-n junction diode. So p-n junction diode we will combine, for making the p-n junction diode we will combine the p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. So in n-type semiconductor we have seen. Okay, so we will take this in the next lecture. Thank you.